But we're starting with one of the most talked about court cases ever. It all started when Coleen Rooney publicly accused Rebecca Vardy of leaking stories from her private social media account to a tabloid newspaper.
Yeah. So Rebecca took Coleen to court over the accusations. Now, the judge dismissed the case against Coleen, saying that it was likely that Rebecca's agent had passed on some stories to the newspaper. The judge said Rebecca knew of, condoned and was actively engaged in this process.
Now, whilst the court case has ended, the fascination continues. We've had a TV drama, a play, and now Coleen is ready to tell her story for the first time in a new documentary. But before we talk to her, let's take a look.
Throughout the trial, I kept silent because I was under oath. And still to this day, I haven't said anything. I feel that everyone else has had their say about the court case and how it all began. But for me to move on in life, and especially in the public eye, I just feel that it's right that I have my say as well.
Oh, please welcome Coleen Rooney.
Welcome to the show, Coleen.
Oh, welcome. Well, people have been fascinated, but we're not going to go into the details of the court case because that's kind of been done and dusted now. But in the documentary, I feel that you get a real sense of you. And even though that you've been in the public eye since you were 16, a teenager, I don't think we've ever really got to know you. Was it a big decision to do the documentary? I know you wanted to set the record straight, but also it meant kind of showing a bit more of yourself, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I think the documentary gave me time to tell my story, and it was just a good way of telling it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I mean, we've both watched it, and it's such an interesting watch. And
you can't stop once you start.
People are going to love it. But I have to say, you know, yourself and Wayne, I mean, you were completely, like, thrust into the limelight at such a young age, wasn't you? And I kind of wanted to ask you about, which is, it's in the documentary, about the photographers and stuff like that. You know, do you remember, like, the first time you were followed by a photographer?
Yeah, I do. I was walking to school one day. Wayne had just been to my house to pick up some headphones he left over, and he was going to his first England meet-up. And then I was walking to school and the man took the photograph, and there was a lot of giddy girls in school that day just wondering what was going to happen with this photograph. And then the weekend after, it was in a national newspaper.
It must have been mad at 16,
yeah.
right? Kind of, because when you look back now, it just looks wrong, don't it? But like, when you were 16, it must have been a whirlwind. Right?
Yeah, it was. But Wayne was going through it at the same time, so it was quite good because we had each other to go through it together.
Yeah. And then in the documentary as well, of course, you document the ups and downs that you've had. You know, your private life has been splashed all over the front pages for years and years now. How do you cope with that privately at home?
Well, going to what we've just talked about, we've been in the public eye for over 20 years now, and we've gone through it together, so we've had each other to support, and we've learned to cope, but we've got a great family support system, and also we're really strong-minded, the two of us.
And I think you get a real sense of, you know, your parents are obviously real supporters, aren't they? They live just down the road, as you say. They're always there during those big moments, which, you know, I really related to that because, you know, it's the same with my parents. When bad things happen, that's who you turn to, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. As parents, you're always going to be protective of your children and you just want the best for them. So it wasn't just me going through this court case or this period of time. It was my parents as well and my family and friends who were around us all the time.
Now, within the documentary, you talk about, you know, all of that, what, you know, we've just mentioned there. But, you know, when you discovered that personal information was being leaked from your private social media account, by the way, you know, to the press. I mean, you did your own investigation as well, you know, throughout it all before publicly naming the account. I mean, when I watched it, I thought that must have been a really tough decision for you at that time to kind of go down that road with it. Could it have been easy just to kind of go, oh, just get rid and delete?
Yeah, it was, but it was going on for so long, and I put warning posts out there saying someone was leaking my private information, and it just didn't stop. It continued, and I'd had enough. I just wanted it done with.
And I bet you knew that the reaction would be big to that post. but it was absolutely off the charts, wasn't it?
I knew there'd be attention, but not the level it got. I was really shocked at how big it got.
And was there any moment then that you thought, oh gosh, maybe I've made a mistake, or were you like, no, I'm sticking to my guns?
No, as I say throughout the documentary, they were my words and I stick by them today. And that was something that I continued with. It was tough. There was times where I just wanted it to go away, but that's what I had to do. I had to just battle on.
Yeah.
I think at the root of it, I think the sense that myself and Alex got was about your kind of protection of your family. And, you know, the kind of process that you go through to figure it all out, you had to keep a large period of that process to yourself. That must have been so hard, not to even just go to a friend or a family member and go, look, this is the plan.
Yeah, that's the way I've always coped in life. That is my coping mechanism, is to keep things within and not to trouble other people. I don't like to say something and then them be worried about me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I got everything I could right and then deliver what I'd been doing. But if I did tell anyone, that's just not, it's not going to work because I needed to keep it all to myself until
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
It was such a master plan in a sense, wasn't it? And keeping that to yourself is quite a lot to carry.
You can tell Coleen anything. She's not going anywhere, is it?
Yeah, no.
But you, I mean, you didn't even tell Wayne.
No.
Did you, like, throughout the whole process? I mean, what was his reaction when he saw what you'd actually posted?
Well,
Did
he was
say
in
anything?
America at the time and he just said, what have you done? But I think people were shocked, especially people close to me, that I'd put it on social media because that's not my character at all.
Yeah.
And as JJ was saying, you're so protective of the children, like any of us are. You know, what impact has this whole thing had on you as a family?
It was so stressful. I feel like a massive cloud's been lifted now. And even though I was there physically looking after the children, mentally I just wasn't. So now I just feel so grateful to be present again and to be there with the kids, both physical and mentally.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Thank you so much. Coleen Rooney, The Real Wagatha Story, launches on Disney Plus this Wednesday, and Colleen's autobiography, My Account, will be out on the 9th of November. Brilliant.
Claire Boulding and Frank Skinner.
Oh, thanks very much.
Welcome both, welcome. Frank, we're going to be talking to you in just a moment about hitting the road again.
Oh, I would have brought a newspaper if I'd known. No, carry on.
Yeah, we'll carry on, we'll carry on.
First, and
Yeah,
you
I
like
wanted-
that.
chip
Come
in,
on,
I'll
you
chip
like
in.
yeah,
You do,
you've got
you
a
do.
dog.
We are going to be talking pets just now, actually. I mean, I'm going to ask yourself and Coleen, are you dog or cat people? What you
Dog,
got? You're
definitely dog, yeah.
Dog all day.
Yeah, well, we've got a lovely dog.
We've already been looking at photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just do, don't you?
That's
No.
my
Oh,
dog.
there you go.
Honestly, isn't
My
that the
dog's
most
on the
beautiful-
telly.
She's a cavapoo, isn't she?
She's a cavapoo
Yeah.
called Poppy, and she is a cute little... She sits on my lap at breakfast. So she's got quite a lot of muesli on her and
Oh,
stuff,
there you
but
go,
she's
yeah.
a lovely...
The sharing the
lovely
plate,
animal,
yeah? Love it, nice.
Oh,
Nice.
man, I love her. She's great.
But we knew, Claire, with you, of course, we know how much you love dogs, and your love goes right the way back to the beginning. We've got a photo.
Oh.
Just to prove where it all started. Now then, who's this?
Now,
You
now,
guys are
Coleen
baby?
can
that you on the
identify. Very funny. Coleen can identify with this because you had boxers, didn't you? When you were
Yeah,
young?
that was my first childhood dog, was a boxer called
See?
Rocky, a white one.
And they're really protective. And I actually think that I probably thought Candy was my mother.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a baby, the first face you see, that's the one I recognise. And my mum always said, if you think the boxer has a beautiful face, the world will forever be a beautiful place. It's very profound.
It's very profound. Now, you've presented Crufts, Claire, for 2 decades, and you're putting all of that knowledge to good use, aren't you, for your new book, Isle of Dogs?
Yeah.
Now, you learn about a dog, apparently, that was accused of witchcraft.
Oh, yeah,
This
boy.
is what?
There are so many good stories in this because it sort of charts our history of, you know, being a nation of dog lovers and how much dogs have influenced our culture. And when you look at various historical figures, during the Civil War, Prince Rupert of the Rhine had a poodle, a white poodle called Boy, and he took him everywhere with him. And this pamphlet was produced accusing Boy of witchcraft. They thought that he was a dog that could change into different shapes and be different things. They accused him of being, you know, a satanic figure.
Oh, poor boy.
I know. And then poor Boy got killed at the Battle of Marston Moor.
That's not good. That's
Which
not
I think
He
at
came
16...
back.
Well, he's had a terrible life, all told.
Yeah.
Didn't
but
expect
he
that
was-
ending, I have to say, Claire.
But they think, in a way, he was the first sort of official British Army dog because he went everywhere with
yeah.
Prince Rupert and he went into battle and sadly met his end there. But you do think of dogs in different roles, how big a part they play with the modern army in tracing people after explosions, but also, you know, they play a massive security role, not just as guard dogs, but sniffing out drugs
Yeah.
or anyone carrying explosives and all of that.
They do
It's amazing.
even more important work than that. Because what I see is they are a great anti-loneliness device. I see
Absolutely.
people who not only have the dog for company, but they talk to other dog owners all the time. And that you know, loneliness is as big a problem as
There's actually a
everything
chapter in the
else.
book, isn't there, Claire, about dogs that are trained almost like for medical reasons, you know, and
Yeah.
actually like the topic around dementia as well and how dogs are
Yeah,
I mean,
so
really
there,
helpful.
yeah, there are two sort of examples. One is medical detection dogs, where dogs can actually detect cancer and they can smell changes in you. And we know they can detect a drop in sugar levels, for example, if you're diabetic, or perhaps the onset of an epileptic episode. But Dogs for Good is a charity that trains dogs to help people in all sorts of situations. So some is physical aid and picking things up for you or loading the washing machine. They're really good, you know. They're really clever
And
dogs.
there's therapy
You could train
dogs,
your
isn't there?
Pomeranian to do this. It'd be pretty
Load
cool.
the dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's
how
got to,
amazing
you know.
that would be.
We don't need to switch the dishwasher on now. We just put the dirty Crocs in and the dog licks them
does it.
spotlessly
Because that's
clean.
really healthy, I know. You're not wrong.
She's very, very clean dog.
But this is
But
the
you're
thing,
right. They're
you know.
there to support you, I think, in loads of ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether that's physical or mental. And Dogs for Good is training a lot of dogs to help people with dementia. So they would respond, for example, to an alarm going off to take medication to someone who needed it. And it's interesting because people don't get cross with their dogs. I mean, my parents are very clever. My mum used to send the dogs to wake us up when we were grumpy teenagers. So don't get cross with the dogs. Same thing when you're older and you might be getting angry with, you know, not being
Can't
able
get
to
mad
do
at
the
a
things
dog.
you did.
Yeah.
And you know, if memory is failing as well, that can create a lot of anger issues. But you don't get angry with the dog. And so the dog brings you your medication or the dog then responds to another alarm to help you take exercise. And importantly, gives the carer a break.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
they are incredible.
Oh, yeah, they're terrific.
Isle of Dogs by Ms.
Yeah.
Baldwin. Is that now?
It's out right now.
Her Majesty the
Yeah,
Queen.
I think we got that bit slightly wrong, didn't we? His Majesty, who they might mean, yes.
Yeah, the
Sorry,
Queen.
I
the
mean,
Queen.
I-
Queen
you know-
Consort.
The Queen.
It's not,
The Queen.
It's not my business. Just trying to be helpful.
We hear
I know you don't
we're all
get to
right.
keep
Yeah,
up
we're
with
all
the
right.
news
It's
on
all
the
right,
show.
Threw me off as well. Anyway, Coleen,
I got
you've got 4 sons, right?
Yes.
I mean, I loved football. It was hard for my mum to get me off the street playing football. Can you get them into, you know, get them involved in writing stories? Do they enjoy writing the
Yeah,
stories?
they do. Actually, I've just had parents' evening last week, and that was one of the topics my 10-year-old was doing, was creative writing. So they do enjoy it.
Oh,
They like reading books.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
We got parents' evening tonight, and my partner's having to do it on her own because I'm doing the one
Because
show.
you're here. That's C choices, Frank.
I would just rather meet you two.
Is that right? And that's how
Dedication
you'll
to the one
explain it
show,
to
you see?
your
Very good.
children later in life.
Frank, we better talk about your tour because we're running out of time
Oh, sorry.
rapidly here. So, back on tour. Now, you are known for being quite shocking in terms of your stand-up. You like to shock the audiences. What are you going to be doing this time? Are you reining it in? Are you going
Well, I've
full throttle?
tried to clean it up a little as I've got older, but it's a struggle for me because I grew up with all that kind of rude comedy. You know, school, factory, pub, that's all everyone talks about in the West Midlands. So I've tried, there'll be something for the sophisticated, but something for the rest as well.
Good.
Well, you've taken all those thoughts, haven't you, about being a clean comedian, and you've made them into a new show.
Yeah.
What exactly can people expect then from 30 years of...
Well, it's absolutely hilarious. I think I honestly get funnier as I get older. Honestly, the way fine wine improves.
That's a real thing, though, no? I mean, more baggage, you know, more stories to tell.
Yeah,
Must
and
get funnier.
you know, I care a lot less than I used to.
About what people think, or
Just
just
about
generally?
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the dog.
No, care more about the dog.
Yeah,
But
anything
no,
but the dog.
I feel more at home as an old guy. I think I was always an old man in waiting, and now I feel I've arrived where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Well, you've already
I've
tested
arrived.
the material, haven't you, over the summer?
Well, I did
at
a month
Edinburgh?
in Edinburgh, which was brilliant. Sold out, did extra shows and all that stuff.
Brilliant.
Wow.
And most of people at my level go and do about 3 nights there, but I did the whole thing. And
Did you get very
It
tired?
was great. No.
Okay, just
I
checking.
love it. I
Isn't it
absolutely
true,
love
though,
it.
that there were 2 audience members there that you were a bit shocked to see?
Well, the first night there was an 8-year-old boy in the front row, and that's, you know, I said there will be adult conversation, and his mum said, you know, I'm sure it'll be all right. And I said, why did you bring him? And she said, your ticket was cheaper than babysitting.
I mean, that's fair enough, I think.
Well, yeah, but he had an educational evening, let's put it that way.
You hint in your joke telling at what the punchline is going to be. That's going to be in your style, isn't it? Where did that come from?
Well, Bob Monco said to me, you can judge an audience by how far you have to go with the joke. So we used to have a joke about these biscuits. So you get these biscuits from the supermarket, and they're animal-shaped biscuits. He said, and it says, do not eat if the seal is broken. He said, I opened it, so you've got it. He said, with some nights, all you have to say is do not eat if the seal is broken. And bright people like this laugh. Some nights you have to go, and then when I opened the tin, the seal-shaped biscuit was actually broken. And then you know it's going to be a tough
night.
Tough night,
So,
long
yeah,
night.
so it's always good to have one of those jokes early on.
You're taking the show on the road, as we've kind of been talking about.
This week, I
in the
should
show.
say, I'm in Leicester tomorrow night, and then Halifax, Middlesbrough and Reading. And then I'm doing 7 nights at the Lyric Theatre, Shaftesbury Avenue, from the 30th of October. Yeah.
What are you like on the road? Are you one that kind of enjoys it, visits all the service stations, or
I
do
love
you loathe it?
hotels. I love that moment when you open a hotel door thinking, what's this one going to look like, you know, and stuff like that. Service stations...
I don't know if he's being serious then. I was like, I don't know if he's being serious.
No, I am
you
serious.
like that, yeah?
He is.
Okay,
I get
right.
excited about all of it, you know, what
But service stations, I'm with you there, because there
Yeah.
are very superior. T-Bay.
T-Bay.
T-Bay, oh,
Now,
yes.
T-Bay is... I'm glad you said that, because
I drive there just to go to that
I
service
wasn't
station.
sure if it existed or
Yeah.
I dreamt
Oh, it's so
T-Bay.
beautiful.
Have you ever been
No,
there?
I haven't been,
What's
but I've
so
heard
good
about
about it,
it.
Fran?
And the M6 toll road, that one's
I
good
went.
too,
This is a
but
motorway
T-Bay.
services, and we went there on tour, and there was a farmer's market.
I know the one.
You know the
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
And
There are always dogs there as well, which is nice.
my support... Yeah, I couldn't eat
No,
whole dog.
no, don't.
My support act was South African, and he said, you know, they've got homemade biltong. And there's never been a services like this one.
No.
Well,
There
sounds
you
great.
go.
fabulous.
Well, look, you can see Frank and hear all about service stations in 30th.
You can see me at most service stations.
It's on from Monday, the 30th of October.
OK. Now, with a month to go until this year's Children in Need, we wanted to remind you there's still time to challenge yourself for the Children in Need, by getting involved in the Joe Wicks Burpee Challenge, which kicks off today.
Yes. Now, he wants you to do 1,000 between now and the big night on Friday, the 17th of November. That's around 30 a day. Morning Live's Gethin Jones is up and running, of course, he is,
look at
with
him.
his.
Loves it.
You can find out how he gets on when Morning Live returns next Monday. I mean, for him, that's just
Simple,
that's
innit?
just
I
fun.
think he needs to elevate it, I think. He
Yeah.
can do better. He can do more. Well, lots of you are getting involved too. Here's 5-year-old William. Look at this boy.
William!
He is showing us how to get it done. That's the energy I want to see. Now, if you don't fancy a burpee challenge, there's lots of other ways you can get involved with Challenge Yourself for Children in Need. Just head to bbc.co.uk/Pudsey for more details.
And this Thursday, we'll be introducing you to our very own challenge squad, 4 inspirational young people who will each be taking on a personal challenge of their own. You are going to love them. And we've got brilliant challenges, haven't we, lined
We
up
have
for
loads,
them.
yeah.
Now that we hear your boys, Coleen, love children in need, mine do too, to be honest. It's a big thing in school, isn't it? It's something you look forward to. Do you know what they're doing this year?
It's usually come dressed in Children in Need stuff and donate the money, but they love the whole getting the dramas on, the Children in Need dramas, and watching it as a family. It's a nice family evening.
Exactly. Yeah. It's lovely. We have to say, Claire, before we go, you know, we were talking about dogs, Frank, giving them a lot of love, and they're amazing and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But look, Claire's gone to the dark side,
has gone to
everybody.
the dark side.
Who are these, Claire?
Well, that was Pickle and Eric. And Eric's we had kittens during lockdown, you see, with Button, and we kept Eric, but the others all went to friends and neighbours and, you know, family. But they would, God, they were lovely to have around. But you are allowed to like cats and dogs.
Absolutely.
You are.
This is true.
No,
It's not-
I don't think you are.
No, you are.
Well, we have to say
decided you are.
thank you so much to our guests tonight.
Tomorrow, I'll be back with Lauren, and we'll be joined by Sarah Davies and Shruki's Nigel Harmon and Katia Jones.
Plus, Sir David Attenborough shares some of his highlights from the new Planet Earth series. Have a lovely evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.